Right guys, welcome to this week's video. You're going to have to bear with me on this one because it's a bit here, there and everywhere. This is probably the fourth time this week I've filmed this intro because plans have been changing left and right. I'm actually halfway through doing the car that's featured in this week's video. I'm actually just about to put the gearbox back in at 9 o'clock on a Saturday night, trying to get this video ready for you for tomorrow. So I'm trying my best to get this video out because I don't want to miss an upload. But there's so much been happening this week, I can't tell you about it now. By the time you guys are watching this, Charlie will already know. I'm keeping it secret for him. But it's going to be a game changer. It's going to be awesome. Please bear with me for this video. Let's get this gearbox done. And yeah, hopefully we can get an upload done out of this. And we can get this finished, get this car back to Dylan. And all will become clear soon, I promise. Let's crack on with this video. Let's go back in time where I take the gearbox out and show you that footage. Right, here we go guys. I'm so glad we rearranged this garage. Look, we can get the whole Fiesta in. There's a bit of space either side of it. We've got the heaters on. We've got the floor mats. Still a bit of space at the back. And we've got a decent bit of working space at the front, eh?
Plenty of space at the front.
It's loads better. I'm so glad we put the toolboxes in here. And then of course we've got our, what used to be the utility room is now a tool area. Ignore the mess, we need to finish that side off. But it gives us space to work. We can get the heating on, we're in the dry. We can't fit big cars in, like I don't think we'll get the Peugeot in here.
Still tight
to do the work on that, but we can get small things like Fiestas, Polos, Fiat 500s, all that type of thing. So
the and stuff.
Yeah, the Micras and things like that. So that's all we're going to sell for now on until we find the premises. It's all we're going to work on.
Small little hatches.
Small cars. So we're going to start ripping the clutch out of this. So
when you get it up off the ramps.
Yeah, we've put it up on the ramps just to get a bit of height. We'll loosen all the wheels, we'll get it on the jacks, put it on the axle stands, and then we'll get the wheels off. And then basically, you need to clear as much space as you can here at the top. So we'll get the battery out, we'll get the airbox out, intake pipe off. That'll allow us to access the top of the gearbox. Then we'll get underneath. Yeah, I'll probably leave the drive shafts in the gearbox so that we don't spill oil all over the floor. And that way we won't lose any gearbox oil either. Disconnect the cables go into a box on the front there, we'll show you them in a minute. But I think these are fairly straightforward, it shouldn't take us too long.
No, not too long.
So
it shouldn't take you too long, I've got work to go to later.
Yeah, you need to go to work, so you're only helping me for a couple of hours, so
help you get it out.
Yeah, let's get cracking on. AUTOPARTS have already got the clutch in for us, so let's pop it on a bit of a time lapse and we'll just rip the top bit apart. Right, that's the top end pretty much stripped. I know it looks a bit of a minefield of wiring at the minute, but we've got the wiring bracket off the bell housing.
Could have just passed it to me.
Yeah, wiring brackets off the bell housing, ECU's out to the side. This wiring bracket's off, battery tray's off. That allows us to get to all the earths and the engine mount, gearbox mount. Bell housing bolts are off at the top. And the clutch pipe's also taken out of the concentric cylinder. So this is our clutch pipe here. Top tip when I'm doing it, always take the finger off a rubber glove, pull the clutch pipe out, put it straight over the top of it. It stops it leaking all over your garage floor, and it stops all the crap going into it as well. So next we're going to get underneath, get it on jack stands, take these ramps out, get the wheels off, loosen the drive shafts, unbolt all the underneath of it, and then we'll support the engine with the trolley jack, undo the engine mounts, gearbox mounts, and we'll not be too far away for getting the gearbox out then. We should have it out before I have to drop you off.
Hopefully. Time's getting on though because it's already almost 11.
Right, We best get a move on then. Right guys, something actually came up and I had to actually nip away. So I'm a bit delayed on this car. I've actually just got the gearbox out. I've got it sitting under the car just now. I've took the old clutch off. I've got the new stuff here. I've opened it to make sure it was right. So the concentric cylinder, friction plate, pressure plate is all there. I've got the old one off. The pressure plate on the old one's not too bad. Friction plate, it's got decent signs of wear on it. The springs are pretty much very, very loose. But other than that, no massively bad. But this car did still run and drive. It just had the odd fault with the clutch pedal. Sort of sticking and no feeling very good. Onto the concentric slave cylinder. The bearing is dry and noisy and rotten. But there's actually corrosion on the inside of it. You probably won't see it. And I think this might not be helping with the pedal feel. It's quite tight to move. And the fluid that was in it was absolutely filthy, like really black. So I think the majority of the problem stemmed from this, but if you take a gearbox out, you're not going to put it back in with a second-hand clutch and just replace a cylinder. You may as well do it all. So for the sake of the cost of the clutch, it would have been the same amount of labour for taking it in and out. So 3-piece clutch kit, ready to go back in. It's the right parts. We're ready to go, but I've actually got Katie filming. Charlie's away to his other job, so I'm here myself, and I doubt I'll be able to lift that back in with it. A wee bit of help for above guiding it back in. So I'm going to wait till tomorrow morning, till Charlie's back, and then we'll lift the gearbox in and get it buttoned up. Right guys, I'm going to jump in here and try and clear some of this up a wee bit. So if you don't already know, Charlie's got a second job. He has started with me full time. We are having a go at this YouTube thing full time. But he needs a bit of social skills as well, and he needs to earn a wee bit of extra cash. So he's got a part-time job that he does 2 or 3 days a week. So he was actually doing a later shift, so we done what we could. I went and dropped him off at work, but then I got the phone call and I had to go and get something sorted out. You'll find out soon. So that night I managed to get the gearbox out. My plan was the next day, I thought Charlie was doing the same shift again, and he was starting at 3, and my plan was to get the gearbox back in before he went to work at 3 o'clock, so he could give me a hand to lift it in and out. But it turned out he was actually on an early shift, so I ended up having to drop him off at work in the morning. But then I had to deal with the Nissan Micra being sold. That was getting dropped off. I had wheels to go and sort out for that. I had a bit of prep work to do and everything. I then had to nip back out again and go and sort out the thing that was happening. So obviously I spoke to Dylan, the owner of the car, and I told him that we were a bit delayed because of what had been happening. Dylan was happy with that because Dylan, well, he's a subscriber of the channel. He's like I said, it was an opportunity. I couldn't wait. I had to go and get it sorted out. So Dylan was happy to wait for a day or so for the car. So then I came back, realised Charlie was at work, got everything finished, and before I knew it, it was sort of the end of the day again. So I was on my own trying to get the gearbox back in, but then the drive shaft came out and I had to go and source the oil. I had to run about trying to find the right oil for it. So yeah, Saturday was pretty much written off. So me and Katie ended up getting the gearbox in, which you're about to see, but not completely finished because it ended up about 10:30 at night. Let's cut back to the clips of me on Saturday night putting the gearbox back in. Right, so we're back where we left off, and it's time to get this gearbox back in. So I've already drained the fluid out of the gearbox. I'm going to clean out the bell housing, fit the new concentric, get the clutch lined up, and then hopefully by myself, because Katie can't help me, she's holding the camera, hopefully by myself manhandle this gearbox back into the Fiesta. Maybe Charlie will be back by then, I don't know, but he's at work at the moment, so he'll be back soon. Let's get this gearbox back in this Fiesta and go to bed for a wee while. So I have cleaned up the flywheel by hand with a wee bit of abrasive, a wee bit of P60, cleaned it all, Cleaned it all up with some brake cleaner to get rid of the dust. I've got my old school clutch alignment tool in here, and I'm just putting in the bolts that are holding the clutch on now. Now these, when it comes to fitting these, we're going to go around and tighten them up nice and evenly, and then obviously we'll put them to the manufacturer specific torque, which I don't know what that is yet. I'll need to have a look, so we'll get on Google in a minute, or Autodata, find that out. But we'll just use the quarter drive ratchet, nip them up with that first, make sure the clutch is lined up, because if that's not properly lined up, the gearbox is a nightmare to go back in. So yeah, it just goes to show, even in your wee garage at home, you can still get away with doing stuff like this. I'm so glad we moved on the toolbox. Makes such a difference. I've actually got a wee bit of space here. I have got the heaters on. I don't think they're actually doing much. Katie's got the biggest hoodie I've ever seen on. But we're warm, well, we're dry. The floor's padded. And we're alright. Next thing, now that the clutch is on, before we put the gearbox back in and put the new concentric in, we're going to give our gearbox bell housing a good clean out. So, bit of brake cleaner, nothing fancy. Get rid of all the dust and crap. Now's the time to do it. You don't want to be putting it in dirty. Or if you see any signs of any seals leaking or anything like that, this is the time to change them. You don't want to be pulling all this back out again. So, nice and clean. Pop it back in. Right, new concentric's gone in. Now, I think this was the actual problem with the car to begin with, more than the clutch, but if you're in here and you're doing this, just replace this as well. Don't skimp on it, because you'll probably end up, maybe not straight away, maybe not in 6 months, maybe not in a year, but you will be having this gearbox back out to replace this, so just do it while you're here, and that's it done. Right guys, new cylinders on, clutch is in. There's nothing left to do now but to manhandle this gearbox back in. Ideally, you want somebody that can reach down for the top and just help you lift it up, but Katie needs to hold the camera and I didn't want her breaking a nail or anything, so it's just going to be me. Charlie's still not back yet, so I'm just going to go for it, see if we can get this in. I'm not going to film it because it probably won't be very pretty or flattering, so yeah, we'll come back to you when I've got it back in. Right guys, I've got the gearbox in, finally. Katie was a legend. She actually managed to pull a bracket out of the way and get one of the top bolts in for me to hold it while I supported it from underneath. So we've got it in, bell housing bolts are in, and the gearbox mounts back in. So I've got the jack out, everything's supported now. It's just a case of buttoning everything up, but I think I'm going to call it a night. It's 10:30. I'm absolutely chinned after the day I've had. We've got an early start tomorrow. Like I said, all will become clear soon and you will see everything on the second channel. So if you haven't subscribed already, I know I've not put an upload on it yet, the uploads are coming, but head over to HGB VIP, HBG VIP. I will leave a link in the description. There'll be a pinned comment with a link to the channel in it. Everything's going to become clear there, right? There'll be a whole video on it. Charlie doesn't know about it. It's a massive surprise for him. I'm not going to tell him, but by the time you guys are watching this, you'll have found out. So head over to that channel, watch the, I'll put a couple of short uploads on next week, and then you'll see a whole video on what's happening. But I can't say much more than that now. So yeah, 9 o'clock tomorrow, John's meeting us. We're going to go and do something. I'm super excited about it. Super excited. So yeah, that's me done for the night. Hopefully we'll get this buttoned up tomorrow and I'll be able to get this uploaded hopefully by 8 PM still for the usual time. If you're watching this at 8 PM, I've did it. If you're watching it later, I didn't do it. So stay tuned, we'll find out what happens. Right, so it's now Sunday evening. The gearbox is still in the same position I left it in. We've only just got back about an hour ago. I'm trying to get this video edited and uploaded for 8 o'clock. It might be a bit later. It's also Katie's birthday, so we need to spend some time with her. And it looks like I probably won't get this gearbox finished till tomorrow. So, Dylan, you might have to take the Peugeot 208 to work tomorrow, or to college, wherever you're going. I'm sorry about that. But tomorrow afternoon, late afternoon, this should be back on the road, and I'll be dropping it back off to you. So, that's it for this week, guys. Sorry it's been a bit here, there and everywhere. It's just been an absolutely manic week, but going forward, things are going to be awesome. So make sure you go check out our second channel, HBG VIP. I know it's a bit of a mouthful, but I'll leave a link in the description for you to click on. There'll also be a pinned comment. And over on that channel, you'll see a couple of short videos, and you'll see exactly what the major distraction was this week. So stay tuned. Thanks for watching. Like and share the content, and we'll see you next week.